Hello, I'm Brian with glutenfreehomebrewing.com. Today is the first day of stay-at-home in Oregon, and I was going to brew anyway, but today I'm going to do an improv video tutorial or video blog. Beerly Brewing, Beerly t-shirt. I am plugging him today. I'm going to just top off my beer here and plug Beerly Brewing specifically. I know a lot of people are doing research in Ondea Pro and sharing the results, and I'm going to get to that, and that's really important. But it was, got a fly in there, it was Beerly Brewing opening up his brewery, opening up his business, and allowing a lot of this research to initially get started. So that openness about sharing information, which is just going to propel the gluten-free homebrew and industry forward. It's really important. The amount of sharing that we're doing is really just going to help the brewing community overall. And opening up your brewery, not holding all your cards close at hand, although I know any master brewer is going to hold some cards close at hand, but just overall openness is really helping the entire brewing community. So second shout out to Zero Tolerance. They're sharing information, they're doing all the things. When Gluten-Free Home Brewing first started as a Facebook page, that's kind of what we did on our Facebook page. We just shared anything and everything that we could find related to gluten-free brewing. Zero Tolerance has, I believe, like satellite locations, so there's meets all over the world at different times, so that you don't have to get up at 2 in the morning to go to a meeting. So they have a bunch of satellite options, and they're sharing information, and that's really what's going to allow us to go forward as a community. The amount of information that we gained in the first 5 years of our Facebook page and website and business pales into just how much we've gotten in the last 5 months. It's astonishing. So we really need to keep that openness going, particularly with all these stay-at-home orders, which are necessary, but are really hurting potentially these niche of a niche businesses. Gluten-free breweries are generally very small and rely on the local communities. So if you have some way of supporting a gluten-free brewery, gift certificates. I know last week, I don't know as of today if this is the case, but I know last week you could pick up your beer in the parking lot at Beerly Brewing. I don't know what the rules are as of today, but please support your local gluten-free brewing or brewery. I'm brewing today using the Grainfather. I'm going to get right to it. We're working with Ondea Pro. Well, everybody is following the research that's been being shared. I've been kind of taking things in a different direction. My goal is to try to use just Ondea Pro and to do it in the simplest method possible, because most of my customers may not have the equipment, may not have the knowledge of years of brewing, it may not have the time. All these things are taken into consideration. That's part of the reasoning behind our single infusion mash that we've done up to this point using the other enzymes, because a lot of people use cooler mash tuns, and I used a cooler mash tun until I got the Grainfather. So there's limitations on what people can do. So I want to certainly encourage the creativity and using different enzymes and different mash processes, but I also need, for the benefit of the average home brewer, at least a place to start, at least a place to build some confidence and some experience using Ondea Pro or just brewing in general. So I'm trying to anyway, come up with a method where we can use Ondea Pro without the additional cost, but possibly the consequences, maybe you won't get the benefit of that other enzyme. But if we can use Ondea Pro in a relatively simple process that would have wider appeal and wider application, and more people could benefit from the use of Ondea Pro, that's my goal. Do I discourage any other type of method using Ondea Pro? Absolutely not. Do whatever you want, by all means. Just like with our kits, we have a single infusion mash, and then we have the reverse step mash. We're just trying to keep it simple for people. I know home brewers, once they get into it, anything is game. But for the option of having kits, Ondea specific kits going forward, that's a big goal of mine, and I guess I just announced that now, is that I need to have a repeatable and simple process for most home brewers that may not have a Grainfather. My target is somebody that would have a cooler mash tun and wants to use Ondea Pro. Speaking of the Grainfather, if you did use Ondea Pro, this is also the first time that I'm making a 5-gallon batch using the Grainfather. One of the big downsides is grain capacity. That's because of the dimensional weight and the low efficiency of gluten-free malts up to this point. So I've been brewing 4-gallon batches at the most, because at a 75 to 80% efficiency, I usually got 80 to 85. But in that range, it's hard to push out a 5-gallon batch of beer unless you're going for a really low gravity beer. So I'm super excited about the possibility of doing a full 5-gallon batch in the Grainfather using rice malt, using millet malt, using Ondea Pro. So this is all developing. This is my long-term plan. I just unveiled part of it just now, and that's where we're going with it. We are going to share everything on our website, successes and failures. This is our 3rd batch using these mash steps. The history behind the mash steps is there's only one study, one test that was done that we can find specifically using Ondea Pro. Everything else has been, there just hasn't been anything else. So it was for unmalted barley, and the idea was that a large macro beer company could maybe reduce their malt bill by using unmalted, well, barley, of course. If they can reduce it by 10% or 20%, that would be a substantial savings. And if you're a large, or even if you're a craft brewery, if you can reduce the overall cost of your grain bill and get to a wholesale price volume or price point, or if you can just increase your profitability overall, that's a win. So that's what the study was done for, and I'll share the link with you. And it's the only information specific to Ondea Pro, so I was like, hey, let's try this with gluten-free malt, because that's a good place to start. I've had good results with it, so I'm doing a 3rd batch, just seeing if I can repeat those results, because repeatability is achieving it once is one thing, but repeatability is another. And then maybe we can figure out if that's a good way to go. Numbers aren't everything though. So how does this produce body, another fly? How does it produce head retention? How does the aroma and flavor profile compare to other mash processes using Ondea Pro and possibly other enzymes that are a little bit more advanced? That's another thing to take in consideration. But just like our recommendations currently with other enzymes using the single infusion and the reverse step mash, that's just a starting point. We're just trying to keep it simple. We know home brewers are just gonna, I mean, if you're into this is your thing, we know you're just gonna try anything and everything and try and, whether it's just for the sake of tweaking something just a little bit or getting a little bit different result. I mean, that's why we enjoy doing this. So I'm not by any means saying don't do any of that. Please do all of that. But for the purposes of recommendations for new or novice brewers, somebody moving from the barley world to the gluten-free world, for somebody that just wants a simple process, we need to have recommendations that we can make that has the widest appeal so that everybody can enjoy this process. So that's my soapbox, that's my target, that's what I'm going for here. I'm going to share the information I have about the Ondea Pro test that I'm basing this on. I'm going to share the results from this mash. Hopefully I can repeat the results that I had with this mash with the previous two. I had a little bit of an issue with my pH and dropped my meter in the wort in the Grainfather here. So I'll share everything. keep the information coming. Please keep sharing information, and please keep supporting your local gluten-free home. I'm sorry, not home brewing, but brewery. They're going through a tough time right now. They're already a niche of a business, and do what you can. Buy gift certificates. See if JP is still doing the parking lot pickup. I'm not sure if that's a go as of today, but just reach out to them. I know JP basically answers any text or instant message or messenger thing really quickly, so he's totally on it, and we need them to be successful going forward. So thank you for watching. Again, I'm Brian with glutenfreehomebrewing.com.